Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network. We're GABNET, and we've got you covered live 5 nights a week. First Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 Eastern, it's The Exchange.
Harlan Ellison totally insisted that there were no sounds in space on Babylon 5. Watching it for 20 minutes will clearly show that there are sounds in space. So what the fuck are you pulling this out of, Mr. Harlan Ellison? That pretty much cemented the idea of who Harlan was in my brain.
Tuesday through Friday at 10 Eastern. Join Alex Bennett on the Ramble.
You don't think Bill Clinton's a pervert?
No, I don't.
Go ahead.
No, I really don't. I think I think he's a man who let his dick talk for him. You know, I think he's a guy who was pursued by a young woman and should have said no, but he didn't. Now, the only woman I ever talked to that fucked Bill Clinton was Jennifer Flowers. She kept saying during the interview, you know, I really did have sex with Bill Clinton. And I asked her the question, I said, that's not what's important to me. What's important to me was he a gentleman? And she said, he was terrific. She said, every time we'd have sex, the next day he would call and see if I was okay. He never dodged my calls if I wanted to call him. He was an absolute gentleman.
Tuesday through Friday at midnight, The Intersection.
We now know that Trump doesn't hate all Democrats. He at least likes the Democrats who he perceives to be as crooked as he is.
Ah, wait a minute, ring that bell!
I mean, between Menendez and Blagojevich, you know, who we pardon.
Mm-hmm. If you like sports, we've got that too, with The Arena, Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
There's a lot of long-ass games come knockout round because they have to finish. So you have to play up to 120 minutes plus a penalty shootout. Kick shootout.
Finally, you can get hot and bothered on Connections at 10 p.m. Eastern Monday and by delay Tuesday through Friday at 1 a.m. Eastern.
Many customers have seen a young girl in period clothing. Do it. Just say it. She knows, even though it means something totally different. Immediately she's thinking she's wearing rags.
Bloody Mary.
Come on,
Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary.
That was my own joke. What? Were you looking in the mirror when you did that?
No.
Catch up on all the shows with our weekend flashback. All shows have the Citizen Panel, an exclusive concept of GABNET. It's new, it's daring, it's talk like you've never heard it before. Reasons why you tune into GABNET. Reason number 29, the Citizen Panel.
I'm saying that he could actually, a good lawyer might be able to make a case that he cannot get a fair trial anywhere in the United States because the President of the United States said, quote, he should be executed. And if you can't find a fair jury anywhere in this country because they've all been exposed to this.
No, he'll never go to trial if he's treated as an enemy combatant.
He's not being treated as an enemy combatant, Phil.
He's basically a citizen. He has a green card. He has all the rights that a citizen of the United States has because he has a green card. Either you want to follow the Constitution of the United States or not. Go to Russia if you don't want to follow the rules.
He said that he did this for ISIS. He had a note in his thing. He had phone call on his cell phone, and he says that he did it for ISIS. Therefore,
okay, so Phil, if you did that, you should be able to be treated as an enemy combatant.
I think so.
GABNET. Reasons to listen every day. Log on to gabnet.net for more. GABNET. It's talk like you've never heard it before. Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hey, I sing. Hey, Alex Bennett here. The Ramble is on the air. We'll try to assemble a citizens panel about 25 minutes from right now. But in the meantime, we are going to go talk to an old friend, as we like to do once a week. Larry Bubbles Brown is a very vexing human being. How do you like being vexing?
Yes, it sounds good.
Yeah, vexing because, among other things, he's a complete Luddite. I am talking to him on the telephone, which, by the way, sounds very good. Is this a cell phone you're using?
This is a landline.
That's a landline. You mean, and it's plugged into a wall? Is that how that?
Plugged into a wall. They're always better. If you listen to radio, people always call it on cell phones. They still have such crappy connections.
Yeah. But I'll tell you something about the landlines that I remember is when it rained and you got some water in the lines, there would be crackling.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
A long time ago, yeah.
But it doesn't happen anymore?
Not for these, no.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing stronger than when Ma Bell had the monopoly and they had the phones you couldn't unplug. Those an atom bomb couldn't break those phones.
Oh, well, I wanted to do an ad once for the phone company when they had those phones in the old days. They were made out of Bakelite, I think,
they're unbelievable.
They were big and clunky. This is before the Princess phone and all the other phones came along. But this was
couldn't unplug them, and you couldn't.
They screwed into the wall. There were two terminals, and you would screw the phone into the wall.
And you couldn't turn the ringer off.
Right. So there was no connector. There wasn't like a plug. Hey, folks, kids, you're listening? Yeah, listen to
history lesson.
Pops Bennett and Uncle Larry here to tell you.
Jebediah Brown.
And I want to do an ad, and the ad was going to be, you remember that time you got mad at your wife, and you ripped the phone out of the wall and threw it across the room? And then after the fight was over, you went and retrieved the phone, and there wasn't a mark on it, and you simply screwed the phone back into the connector. Remember, the phone worked? We're AT&T. You could take those phones. That's what everybody did when they were mad. They would rip the phone out of the wall.
Yeah.
Because they knew there was the one thing in the house you couldn't break. And the reason you couldn't break them is AT&T didn't want a bunch of broken phones. So they made those things just rock solid, and they were heavy.
Very heavy, yeah, like bowling balls.
Now, we're not talking about the ones that went before that where you actually had the headset piece that you put to your ear that was on a hook. You know, we're talking about just the phone with the cradle, and you picked it up and you started talking. And then AT&T came out with the Princess phone. They decided they wanted to make phones. They wanted to appeal to women to begin with, and they wanted to appeal to a newer audience. So they came out with the Princess phone. It was the first departure from the old standard phone. There was just one problem with the Princess phone, and they finally fixed it. When people would dial with it, like you used to dial on the phones, right? As you dialed it, the phone would keep moving around.
Right, yeah.
Because it wasn't heavy enough. So they had to weight it down on the bottom so you could then dial with a Princess phone.
Well, you might want to explain to the kids the dial. You didn't punch
yes, there
the
was
number.
a dial. And you dialed. Well, I'll tell you something. This was I often use this as my example of old people versus younger people. You take a younger person today and you ask them to use a digital phone and they go, okay? You ask them, you put them a dial phone down there and say, dial that same number using this dial phone. They have trouble.
Yeah, I've heard that, yeah.
They have trouble. Now, on the other hand, my mother was used a dial phone all her life, and when we got her a touch tone phone, she was going 1, 5, 6. But if you gave her the dial up phone, the rotary phone, she blump 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 blump. So I mean I describe that as the difference in age and how we adapt to technology and so on.
Yeah, people don't like change.
Well,
So,
I'm
not alone.
I've never minded change. You know, I embrace change.
Yeah, you're always on the cutting edge of this stuff.
But the point is, if the change is for good, and I predicted, you know, I was like a proponent of the future and computers and all of that. You know me. You remember?
You were, yeah.
And how this was going to be the wonderful world of the future. And I finally have decided that all this stuff is terrible, and that the Unabomber was right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No, because, and I'm going to tell you why, folks. You say, oh, that's just because you're old. No, it's not because I'm old. It's because I wanted this. But what I didn't want was identity theft and malware and people trying to get into your computer and all the different methods of theft we have today. In the old days, you wanted to rob a bank, you had to get a gun and a gang, and you went into a bank and said, everybody put your hands up, hand me all the money, and you left. Now you got to sit in Russia hacking. And hacking is so much worse than a bank robber, because the bank robber has to have the guts to walk into the bank with a gun.
Yeah.
These guys can sit on their couch in Russia and just hack away. So, you know, the promise of the future didn't come along with a set of rules. I mean, of what could we call it? Decency.
Yeah, we lost our privacy.
People found we found a new way of screwing people out of their money or stealing their identity. And now you really see, by being such a Luddite, don't have to worry about identity theft quite as much as I do.
Yeah, I would be terrified to do banking online.
Yeah. So you still go, let me get this straight, you still go to the bank.
I still, in fact, I did make an upgrade, though. I found out that you can actually deposit your check into the ATM. This was just last week.
Oh, you just figured that one out?
I used to go in and talk to you go in and talk to the teller, and they got this little spiel, hey, how's your day, and all that crap, which I hate. And so now my sister said, oh, no, you can actually put it just go to the ATM. It'll take the check in and read it. And I can't do that. It does.
Oh, yeah, no, that's been going on for years, Larry.
Well, I didn't know that. So this is I hate human contact. So this is a big help.
I know, but the thing is and it's better than waiting in line at the bank.
Yeah.
You know.
I had no. How long has this been going on?
About 10 years.
10 years. Okay, well, I had no idea.
Maybe longer. You know what? You know what though? They haven't been able to, and people can argue with me about this, but they've done a lot of things with banking where you can do it online. I mean, I find it amazing. You know how I deposit a check? If I get a check, and who gets a check anymore? But if I get a check, I simply pull out my iPhone, bring up my banking program, click a picture of the check, and they deposit it.
I've seen that. I still can't believe you can do that.
You can do that. That way you don't have to go to the bank. But you still, if you're going to the bank, you still have to go to an ATM to get the money. There's no way they're able to, like, deliver the money over your computer.
Put greenbacks out of your iPhone.
Exactly. Nobody has been able to come up with that. And that's pretty... so you still... But there are a lot of other ways that you can use that bank. You can use your bank card at your local grocery store or whatever that's linked to your account, so you don't actually have to carry cash all the time. If I want to take a cab, I use my iPhone. I have what's called Apple Pay, and I simply look at my phone because it recognizes me now, which I love because my wife doesn't, but it does. It recognizes
my phone
me.
recognizes me, but my wife doesn't.
And then I simply go to my Apple Pay, And I bring it up, and it looks at me and says, "Okay, it's you. All right. When you're ready, just hold this up to the the reader, and it'll pay for it. So I don't even have to use cash."
So cash will be obsolete in 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, I find that at the end of a month, I still have a lot of the cash I took out of the bank. I take out about $300 a month, and there's always $200 left because I'm either using the Apple Pay or the card or whatever. So you really don't need cash well. You need cash, but not everybody needs cash. But the idea that you can deposit a check just by taking a picture of it, it makes me just delighted.
My head popped off when I did that.
Yeah. But anyway, so what's new with Larry Bubbles Brown? We haven't actually asked you that question.
Is there anything? Nothing exciting. Just bumbling along doing stand-up. I saw your old friend Tom Rhodes, who said to say hi last night.
Gee, Tom Rhodes. God, I haven't talked to him in years.
Yeah.
He became very big in where? The Netherlands or something? Holland?
He had his own show in Amsterdam, for 4 or 5 years, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of these guys who, they were okay here, but they didn't become big. Go to another country like Amsterdam, and he had his own TV show. He was a sensation.
Yeah.
So why is he playing with you?
Well, he's back in America. He was at the Throckmorton last night in Mill Valley, your old home, and he came out there to do a set.
Yeah, but is he still doing stuff in Holland?
No, he's back in L.A. now.
So his career dried up in Holland?
Holland is dried up, yes.
You kind of have to get the feeling, I don't know, I would, that if I were doing my show in Holland and all of a sudden nobody wanted my show in Holland anymore, then I was pretty well washed up, because Holland is it's like getting a job at McDonald's.
Holland's the end of the world.
If they fire you from McDonald's, that's about how you can't get any lower, So.
And he had before he went to Holland, he had a sitcom for a year on before TV died back in the 90s.
He did have a sitcom, didn't he?
It's called Mr. Rhodes.
He was a teacher.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, folks don't even remember that, and I imagine that if we, let me see. I have IMDb here. This is something you would love if you ever got computers.
I like the IMDb. I can go on that. And Mr. Rhodes was probably on in 90. I'm going to say 96.
Mr. Rhodes. Okay, Mr. Rhodes. It comes up. No, that's a movie. Wait, Mr. Rhodes? No, 1996? No, that wouldn't be right, would it?
That's what I thought.
No, that's a movie, so maybe... Wait a minute, hold on a second. Let's do it, Mr. Spell Mr. out. Rhodes. Mr. Rhodes. Huh. It doesn't even come up.
Well, when you get fired from Holland, they take you off the IMDb.
Wait a minute. Mr. Rhodes, and Rhodes is Rhodes, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Mr. Rhodes. Okay, let me put in Tom Rhodes. Jeez. You got to know that Tom Rhodes, actor. Tom Rhodes, Usual Suspects? No, I guess it says Tom Rhodes. Yeah, stand-up comedian. Here we go. Maybe the thing wasn't called Mr. Rhodes. Here it is, Mr. Rhodes. I typed that in and didn't find it initially. It lasted for 17 episodes.
That's kind of a full season.
Kind of, yeah.
And what year was that?
This was, where is it? Oh, here we go. 1996 to 1997. Okay. He was a new hip writer. He has written one novel, which was critically acclaimed, but commercial failure. He must resort to teaching at a prep school. That's the plot of Mr. Rhodes.
And I don't remember the cast, but I think the guy from Barney Miller was on that show.
Well, let's see here. Ron Glass. Yeah.
Ron Glass. That's
Yep. So he got a series. How does that happen?
17 episodes, and he's probably getting $50,000 an episode. So that was a good year.
Yeah, it was a good year. And I think what happens is, that's probably a matter of something you and I don't really know about, good agentry.
Mm-hmm.
He got some agent that believed in him, and then he hyped him, and he got him a show, and then the show failed, and then he never could get another show in America. So then he went to Holland. On IMDb, it doesn't list any of his Holland shows, I don't think. Let's see, Proxy People, International Comedian Tom Rhodes, Comedy Bang Bang, so Red Light Comedy, Live from Amsterdam. Yeah.
So that probably wasn't big money. I don't know.
No, well, I mean, when I saw him, he was doing stuff in Holland, and he was very happy with it. He said, it's nice to be a success there. But we have guys that leave here and go to England, and they can't catch cold here, but in England they love them.
Greg Proops.
Greg Proops, who is he's known here. He promotes himself a lot, and he's known here. But in England, he's a god. He's
a god. Arj Barker is big in Australia.
Arj, where did I see Arj? I saw him on some series or something. He was on something.
He was Flight of the Conchords.
Flight of the Conchords, yeah. But Arj Barker is big in where?
Australia.
So is that where he's living?
Yeah, half the year, yeah.
Wow. So you see, I mean, what happens is, for some reason, the comedians who don't get embraced here can go somewhere else, and all of a sudden, they all love them. There was Michael McShane. Remember Michael McShane?
Mm-hmm.
He was very big in England. Did a lot of sitcoms there and everything. Over here, not so much. People will remember him on Seinfeld as the guy who had the stink eye and I think wished a curse on Kramer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Michael McShane. Now everybody's going, oh yeah, I know Michael McShane. I remember that guy, But he went to England and did very well. Did very, very, very well.
I'm thinking about a move to Albania.
Yeah, Albania would, I think,
could save this debacle.
The Bubs Mania in Albania. Wow. Yes. We'll have to start working on that. I'll get you an agent in Albania.
That is funny that people where comics start out. They're not. Bobcat Goldthwait, I don't think, got a lot of attention in Boston. Then when he moved out to San Francisco, he was like a sensation.
Yeah, and then he got all those movies where he made some really great career decisions.
There may have been some missteps.
Well, I understand doing the Police Academy film, one of them, but he did like 4 of them or 5 of them. I can't remember how many, because that's a way into Hollywood. But then off of that, because he became so popular, he decided to make another movie in which he was the star, and that was about the one about the horse, the talking horse or something.
Yeah, I forget what the title of that was.
Maybe it was called Bob or something like that. See, somebody tried to call me. Tell him. Oh, that's a telemarketer. Funny, they just hung up. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, yeah. So I mean,
but you remember? Yeah, I think. Well, he got huge in San Francisco, I think, because of you. But I just remember people would be lined up trying to get in the studio when he first came out to the city, and it was pretty amazing.
You know, and he fancies himself a director now, and he's doing this show, doing Bobcats, Goldthwait's Misfits and Monsters, which is it's okay. It's not great. You know, it just kind of, you know, it's okay, but it misses. Mm-hmm. Like the premises are great, but the follow through isn't. Like they had one which a guy they were interviewing or something. They run a guy for president of the United States who, among other things, like killed a little boy or something like that. And they said, well, you know, we can get around that, you know. And I mean, the premise was fine, but it just didn't make it, you know. And then there was another one where there was this rock star, and he made a deal with the devil, and that's a good idea, but then the follow through didn't work as well. So it's kind of a disappointing show in a lot of ways. But
I hadn't heard of it. I'll have to.
Then again, I don't like Goldthwait that much because of what he did to me. I never did anything wrong to Bob. I think you'll agree. I did nothing but good for Bob.
Yeah, I didn't know you guys had a falling out.
And he had a show he was doing, HBO, maybe it was a one-night stand or whatever, special at out of the Fillmore. And he gets up. I see him before the show. Alex, how are you? Great to see you. Boy, it's been a while, you know. You haven't been down in Hollywood. It's all working. It's very, very nice, right? Mm-hmm. And then he goes on stage, and the first 5 minutes of his act is putting me down.
Shit, really?
And I'm going, what the fuck is that about? A couple of minutes ago, he's kissing my ass saying, great to see you. And now he's, number one, he's going on a national TV show and complaining about me, who the rest of the country doesn't even know about. You know, you're wasting your time up there because that's never going to make the cut. And I'm going, what the fuck did I ever do to him? And it was kind of, I think that some people just don't appreciate anybody that helps them because they'd like to think they made it on their own.
Yeah, they actually resent it. So
yeah. It's kind of a Trump mentality, actually. Trump tends to resent people who don't exactly kowtow to him. But I mean, so
yeah, I guess they feel like they owe you or you owe them.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't feel Bob owed me anything. Bob was a very talented comic, very funny comic, and he actually enriched my life as well. So you know, but it sold a lot of tickets for me. You know, we always paid him really well. You know, there was no reason for the guy to do that to me. You know, and he did it.
Yeah, that's not nice.
Yeah, so I mean, fuck that. But anyway, so but he, you know, he hasn't been that successful. He's just managed to keep his name out there. Who was successful, he came out to San Francisco with a thing called the Dipsy Doodle Review. Do you remember that? Uncle Stinky.
Yeah, it was Tom Kenny and Dan Spencer and Paul Kozlowski.
And the one who became actually the most successful of all of them, more successful than Goldthwait will ever become, was Tom Kenny.
Yeah, SpongeBob.
He's SpongeBob SquarePants.
Right.
And that thing
he told me that was supposed to run for 3 years. I think it's been on for 20 now.
It's something like that. Yeah. Yeah. And he did very well by that. So, you know.
Well, he does that, plus he does tons of other voice work. So he's just and he's great at it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. And a nice guy. A great guy. Really nice guy. Hey, but anyway, so we're less successful than that, but what the hell? Are we happy?
Well, maybe they'll take care of us when we're homeless.
Are we happy? Yeah. Well, no, we won't be homeless. We'll be living in the old people's home. So they have a place for us. They have a bed all ready for us. Anyway, we'll drool next to each other. Thank you, Larry. Talk
Thanks,
to you
Alex.
next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
And that was our good friend Larry Bubbles Brown, and we love Larry, and we love having him on, and I look forward to all my discussions with him. Anyway, I'm turning on the Skype. Let's see if anybody wants to call me tonight. I doubt it, but we'll see. Let me see here. What else do I have to say? Oh, yeah. I don't like to complain about my health, but for some reason I've got the trots today. So I hope we get enough of a citizens panel that if I have to suddenly run off to the bathroom, they will be more than happy to fill in for me while I'm out cleansing myself, doing whatever I can do. Oh man, yeah, no. The problem is I've got this, I've had for the longest time IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and due to that fact, I have been just. Oh wait a minute, I'm trying to do something here. And here comes Scott Boddicker. Hello, Scott. How are you? Already, Scott Boddicker, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and Phil Meyer is calling.
I hear you got the shits, man.
Well, if I have to run off, which may not happen, I'm just warning everybody. Then you guys can kind of run the show. I'll turn it over to one of you two to host the show while I'm out taking. Or it will be very fast, by the way, because
like shit through a goose.
Well, I've had this IBS for I don't know how long, oh God, he's wearing his NRA hat. Do you always have to do something to piss us off?
It came in today's mail.
Really? How much are you spending with them to get that lousy fucking hat?
I give them $100 a year, $25 a quarter, and since I went on auto pay, I get the hat. Didn't get the jacket. I was kind of disappointed. I would have had to give them the $1,500 up front to get the jacket.
Listen, you do know the NRA is going bankrupt.
It's not my fault.
I know, but you do know it's going bankrupt. They announced that the other day.
Yeah.
Just because they go bankrupt doesn't mean they're going out of business. It just means that their vendors aren't going to get paid. And I'll tell you a very interesting thing.
And you know how expensive bullets are.
Yes. You see this hat, NRA?
Yeah.
See the back of the hat, American flag?
Yeah.
Okay. You see this tag here?
Made in China?
Made in China. Yeah, it's hard to see.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Hey, look who's here. We haven't heard from him in a couple of weeks here. Brian Ludwig is joining us. There he is. How are you, Brian? Gee, good to see you.
Not driving.
And cheerful.
Well, he's never cheerful.
I was being facetious.
Brian, are you ever cheerful?
Not really. Not until I can make a livable wage and have my own,
Yeah. Is things rough for you right now?
Well, they have been for quite a while.
Yeah.
Even before engaging in this platform a year and a half ago, they weren't the greatest, but
yeah. Well, I'd give you a job here at GabNet, but the pay isn't very good. Because we pay off in GabNet bucks.
Yeah.
And in order for me to get enough GabNet bucks to pay you, I would have to go find a copy machine somewhere to make the GabNet bucks.
Just use virtual GabNet bucks.
Yes, right.
Yeah, it's kind of like Bitcoin,
Gabcoin.
Gabcoin, yeah.
Gabcoin.
Yeah.
Am I hearing correctly that the NRA is on the verge of going bankrupt?
That's what I heard the other day. They announced that they were having big money problems and they were going bankrupt. And I I can't figure out why or how. You know.
Do you know?
That's my
You ever
response.
see these Oriental rug stores? They're always going out of business.
Yeah.
And having a going out of business sale, and then all of a sudden, it's the best business they ever did.
Well, the best sign I ever saw was on a fortune teller's door, and it said "closed for business." And Slayton walked by it with me, and he looked at me and said, "You would have thought she saw that coming."
That's true.
But on the subject of business and commerce and the economy, I've been paying some attention to all this drama that's unfolding concerning the Tesla Corporation and Elon Musk.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. What's this about the several $billion thing? I didn't read the article. I just saw some.
He wants to take the company public.
No, private.
It already is.
He wants to go private. He wants to take it back.
Oh, I thought it was the other way.
No.
Read that wrong.
They are a publicly traded company, and he wants to go private again.
I thought they were having money problems. Why would he want to do that?
Plus, he wants to make an investment. He wants to make a multi-billion-dollar investment to add charging stations all across the country, especially in the vast expanses in the Midwest and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. But you know, I lately I've been trying to eat healthy, and I've been going to Whole Foods.
Proprietary.
You know,
that's the problem. They're proprietary.
Phil, can I say this
on an Android device and vice versa?
Can I say this, and I mean this only in the nicest way? Isn't it a little bit late?
Yeah, but the reason I mention this is that when I go to park at the Whole Foods, it's a new one, and they've got all these charging stations taking up maybe 6 spots per aisle, and there's an advertisement under it for the Leaf, which is a Nissan car. But I don't think these charging stations are specific to any kind of car. It's free, and if you shop at the Whole Foods, you just plug in.
Yeah, but the trouble is, my question is with these electric cars. So you plug in. Let's say you've run out of electricity, and thank God you found yourself a place to plug in, right?
Right.
How long do you have to sit there before it's charged enough that you can get home?
Well, let's say you're shopping for 45 minutes.
Less. I'm told it was 30. I've been told it's 30 minutes or less. But most people don't run their battery to the to its being 10% full or less. They usually drive for an hour or two, and then they'll charge it. And
I want a car that at least
Scott has a hybrid, right?
No, the hybrids are different. It's a
hybrid's different.
That's different.
Yeah,
hybrid's different.
Aren't there hybrids you can charge?
No,
yes.
Yeah.
There are plug-in hybrids.
Yeah. But the hybrids also run on gasoline. So while you're running on gasoline, the motor is charging the car or whatever, and then when you have enough electricity, it runs on the electricity and not on the gasoline. I'd like to know
at low speeds.
Yeah, but I would like to know that I have the option. That if I run out of battery power, I mean these things only go 200 miles on a charge. It's not like the
Teslas, I think, go 300.
300?
With an extended battery add-on that you purchase, it can go 300 or more.
And Tesla's
what, do you got to drag that?
And Tesla's not a cheap car either.
No. Well, it depends.
35
you don't get
grand
any
for
options.
And my question is, okay, it's really nice. It's a great idea. It's terrific. We're all in love with the Tesla, the electric car, and it can go 300 miles on a charge or whatever. But when you take it home and you charge it, how much is the electricity costing you to charge it?
It's probably close to what it costs for gas.
All
I
know is
environmentally.
I got a fucking air conditioning going 24 hours a day right now here because it's just been terrible, right? In fact, so bad that my air conditioner, the one I had in the bedroom, went bad, so we had to pull one from another window and put it in there. And actually, it turns out that I had a 10,000 BTU in the bedroom. Now I have a 12,500 BTU in the bedroom. So
you didn't blow any fuses?
No. I did a whole wiring thing. Anyway, the point is that my bill last month for electricity, because of the air conditioning, it's going to be higher this month, was $500.
That's crazy.
So what would it be? What the fuck would it be if I had myself a hybrid?
I normally spend close to $500 a month in gas, fuel, for the car.
Yeah.
And 1 week, my buddy says, take my Prius because I'm taking his dog to work with me. He needed me to babysit the dog.
Yeah.
So I take his Prius, I drive it for a week, just like I normally would drive my FJ Cruiser. After a week, $10 worth of gas. 10. I mean, it was, it makes me say,
Of course, Phil returned the car with an empty gas tank, but nonetheless, But all I'm saying is that, I paid $500 last month for electricity because we had the air conditioning going pretty well constantly. Yes, Jeff.
One of my friends work at a hospital. And they have a Prius, and they're charged for free.
Well, the Prius, you don't plug in. I don't think.
I'm sorry, not the Prius, but the plug-in cars.
The Leaf, like the Nissan Leaf
Right.
or the Volt or one of those, yeah.
Yeah. And it's pretty economical when it costs you nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a Cadillac, and I didn't realize it was either last year or the year before's model. It's called an EL something or other, and I think it's built on the Volt frame. And I saw it on the road, and I said, that's a really good-looking car. And it was two-door. It was a good-looking car. So I stopped at the Cadillac dealership, and they said, "Oh, we don't make that one. That one they only made 1 year, and every year they make a different style. Now it's a four-door." And I said, "Nah, I wanted the sportier." Good looking. It was all. And then there's a car out that I've been getting ads on because I clicked on it on Facebook once. It's called a Toyota Mirai, and it's that is hydrogen. And there's a place to buy the fuel cell in San Ramon, which is maybe 20 miles from me.
There we go.
Working right.
There's
working
Ray.
now.
Yeah, there's a Ray.
You just don't have your camera on.
Huh?
Now you're good.
He does have his camera.
There we go.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this hydrogen sounds like it might be an interesting thing. It's totally clean, and all it burns is water.
Oh, it's like a Stanley steamer.
Well, kind of, but it doesn't heat up anything. I don't know the technology behind how it works, but I like the idea that the only thing that comes out of the pipe is water.
Yeah, every now and then they see these giant mushroom clouds along the highway.
That's a Toyota Mirai going.
Yeah. Do you drive anything like a hybrid, Ray?
No, I have a Volkswagen diesel Passat that I have to turn in a couple of months and get my $26,500 for because of the lawsuit that VW was in.
Oh,
but
really?
It gets 45 miles to the gallon average.
Oh, that's
they're
good.
giving you 20. Oh, they're giving you $26,000 because of the lawsuit.
Yep. And it has 91,000 miles on it.
Wait a minute, you're going to get 90. You're going to get $26,000.
26.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did they come up with that?
It's based on your initial mileage. How they average out your mileage when you first apply for it, and then they stick with that unless you increase your mileage by a whole ton before you turn it in.
Well, how old is yours?
It's 2013.
Okay, and
Wow,
but
so
do you have to
5
give
years.
Do you have to give the car up for that 26,000?
Yeah.
Oh.
It has 90. It has 91,000 miles on it.
So if
Yeah, but that's
it's a
nothing for
deal.
a diesel. That's nothing for a diesel.
I know, but the cars aren't worth anything because the blue books are in the toilet because of the lawsuit.
So you can take the
and-
26,000 and buy another car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
$9,000 more dollars, you can get a Tesla 3.
Maybe you can buy the car back for like $10,000.
Tesla has a number of problems. what people are complaining about is the length of time it takes to get parts or service. That sometimes people are waiting 6 months for service items and for parts from Tesla.
What kind of part? It's electric.
A fender, windshield.
Well, the trouble with Tesla is that you're dealing with a car company that doesn't have a huge infrastructure. I mean, it's a newer car company, so it's not like Detroit where they're turning out bumpers all the time. So
they took over the NUMMI plant in I think in Hayward or down that way, and that NUMMI plant was a combination of Toyota and GM, and then when GM went bankrupt, Toyota got out of the deal.
Everybody like you, guys like you, are praying for Elon Musk to fail, and quite.
Oh
frankly,
no, I'm happy.
I'm praying for his success because the things he's doing are just incredible.
Well, I like his success as well. I think he's great and he's a visionary. Why would I want him to fail?
I think though that if I were him, I'd probably give up Tesla or sell it or something and just concentrate on the rocketry, because the space stuff is where he's going to make some real big bucks.
Yeah, but he's got a lot of technology that comes out of that, including battery technology.
Yeah.
Alex.
Yeah. Yes,
it's not just those on the right that want Elon Musk to fail, though. It's
I don't think
he's a proprietary cocksucker. He's just like Apple, and you can't use other products on our things, and we're going to make it difficult for you to use this part or this peripheral.
Well, in as much as
on our 35 grand machine.
In as much as I don't own a launch rocket, I really don't give a shit.
Hey, I had a friend that came for lunch the other day. He pulls up to the store. He's got one of those Tesla S's, which is the $80,000 one. And he says, watch this. And we're standing in the parking lot. He pushes a button, and the car backs out of the space with nobody in it and can park itself. And it was amazing. And then I said, well, how comfortable are the seats? And I got in the thing, and these seats were beyond comfortable.
So wait a minute. I want to find out Brian's problem with Musk. I mean, you don't own a Tesla, so it's not
I don't want him to fail either. Don't get me wrong. I don't want him to fail, but I have issues with people like him, and people like Jeff Bezos.
Well, you say like him. What's like him? What is he? I think he's different than the rest of them, to tell you the damn truth. Jeff Bezos.
I agree.
Jeff Bezos is going to get into the rocket business, but only because Elon Musk led the way. I just don't see anything that wrong with Elon Musk. I don't see that he's ripping anybody off, and I think
he's an immigrant.
Yeah,
he's giving a lot back.
South African.
I thought he was South African.
Now, if you want to hate, if you want to hate Tim Cook and Apple, and you want to hate Facebook and what's his name, I'm with you all the way. I'll lead the charge. We can go get the torches and storm the castle. But with Elon Musk, I think we're dealing with a guy who's so far he hasn't done any evil. You know what I'm saying? I remember
when those kids were trapped in Thailand, he tried to come up with something. And some English snob, gave him a hard time. But he tried to come up with that capsule, that to get the kids out of the thing. But
the English snob said it wouldn't work, so Elon Musk called him a pedophile.
Well, he probably was.
Did Elon Musk call him a pedophile? No.
Yeah, on Twitter. Yeah, he did.
They called each other names. It was
No. He said the fucking thing won't work, and Elon Musk said, "Well, you're a petty anyway, pedophile." That's what he said.
Even a petty person.
No, he meant pedophile.
Maybe the guy was a pedophile. We don't know.
Whatever.
Well, he was English. A lot of those guys are pedophiles.
Right, Jesus.
Why do you think they took over India? It was for the young boys.
Yeah, okay, sure. I know, big size, Scott. Big sigh.
I can't handle this shit. Hey, so just so you know, Volkswagen can pay me $6,000 if I keep the car. They'll fix it.
They'll fix it. Well, what's wrong with it?
fix?
Let me ask the questions here.
Yeah, okay.
What's wrong? What's wrong? What's supposedly wrong?
Well,
with
there was a middle manager at Volkswagen who his group changed the software many years ago in the Jetta and the Passat and some of the Audis, so that when they in the diesel cars, when they were getting a smog test, it would give false information as to how clean the exhaust was coming out of the back.
I remember that. Yes.
And I think some professor at Virginia Tech or something was doing a class and analyzed it and found out and discovered it, and then told whoever needed to know, and they all got sued, and Volkswagen lost billions of dollars.
Yeah, because I remember. I remember.
Get your 26 grand and wash your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I remember that case now, and it was that they falsified the emission standards.
Yeah, through the software that's in the chip.
Yeah.
It was able to detect when it was having a smog test, and then it would give false information.
So how does it make it worth it to give you $26,000 outside of the fact that
It's not worth it. It's the penalty they have to pay. They have to make everybody. They have to make all of us who have these cars. They have to make us happy.
Well, they could have made you
happy.
Cars
are useless because the cars have to come off the road, so that no one's going to buy them.
Oh, they have to come off the road.
Yeah, or get fixed.
Oh, okay.
And to fix them, they have to put something in the trunk, apparently.
Yeah.
Some type of machinery in the trunk to fix the false information. You lose all your trunk
So
space.
why would you rather take the 26,000 rather than take the 6,000 and have them fix it?
Yeah, because the car has like almost 92,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
And
Ray, is this smog thing something new? Because I used to have a diesel truck, and you didn't have to get it smog. They were exempt in California from smog diesels.
Well, I know it's been that way with. It started with the Jettas. I'm not sure how far back. Maybe trucks didn't have to get checked.
Right.
Maybe it was just. Maybe it was cars. I don't know.
Yeah, well, my truck had a gross vehicle weight under a certain amount that it was kind of treated more like a car, even though it had 6 wheels, and because it was only a 1.5 ton.
Gee,
but
I don't. I don't care about any of this because I don't own
I bought
a
it
car.
in '85. I think I got rid of it in 2005.
Oh, okay. Yeah, these were way after that. These were all cars. Like I think the earliest manufacture was 2006 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeff, you have a kind of a besmirched look on your face. Is there a reason for that? Turn your microphone on. What?
What color was his truck?
Oh, it was white. It was an Iveco. It was an Italian
It's
truck
really interesting, isn't it, Jeff?
with a German diesel engine.
Yeah, I mean everything.
Called an Iveco.
We could mention garbage, and then he would tell us a 10-minute story on how he owned garbage once.
Yes, garbage is important, and I charge that garbage before I get into the car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But anyway.
Well,
can I say something about the Tesla?
Now all we need is Steve. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Here comes Patrick. Some sanity joins the panel. And his name is Patrick. Hey, Patrick. The Patrick Nader.
Yeah, that would be me.
Yeah, the Patrick Nader. So, anyway, a lot of people tonight. Gee, if I had you on the new Skype, I'd only be able to have 4 of you on at a time. Oh, I found out how not to have that bubble come up with the 5 on it or the number on it, Patrick. There's a thing in which you have a choice of going to floating or window. And if you go to window, then I guess you see all the people up above, because Jeff says he sees little circles with all the people.
Okay.
Yeah. Am I right, Jeff?
Right now, I see 3 people in the
You see 3 people in
the circle.
In the
Well, 2 people in the circle and 1 in the box.
Yeah, but the people, what'd you say, people in the circle, you can see them all?
Right.
Huh?
Well, the little circles. In addition to that, I see 4 people.
Yeah. So, but also you see little circles with the people in them.
Right.
Oh, okay. So that's it, and you have it set it that way. So okay, so the way that Patrick's been using it, see, I mean, this is what's so terrible about this whole new thing. It sucks.
With the Mac, I've got 6 equal horizontal things, 2 across and 3 down.
Yeah, well, that's because you're using the Mac and you're using the Skype Classic.
Yeah.
Well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about this new piece of shit they thrust on the world that everybody hates. Yes.
Big cock to jam it down your throat. Too many fucking options.
Yeah.
I see exactly what Jeff was saying. But then if Jeff moved his cursor next to the last circle, there'll be another circle that comes up that's gray, and it'll have like a person with a line through it, and that's where I always get the number.
When the numbers come up, I see. Okay, well,
right now there's only 6 people in 7, including me.
Yeah.
I can see everybody.
Right.
4 boxes, 2 circles, and then I'm in the square at the top.
Okay, all right. Well, I will find out all in about a week or so. I'm going to ask all of you to join me on like a Monday or a weekend or something, and to test this new thing out. I'm going to try to do it on the same machine I'm using it on now, but I have to. There's a thing I have to launch in order to get the picture on the screen. It's really, it's
at my
horrendous.
current weight, will I take up 2 circles?
No.
Whoa, what's
what is that?
I think Jack came on, and now
No,
all of a
what
sudden
is
we're sharing a screen with somebody.
Bill, I have more reason to worry about that.
Wait a minute. Who brought
the hell's
that?
this?
Who brought that up?
Oh, somebody put up a screenshot, and I see what the classic Skype was going to look like.
But there's like somebody's desktop here.
Yeah, I think it was Jack. I saw his thing.
That's not it. There's somebody has put our Skype on this thing.
Yeah. You've been hacked.
No, I think it might be you, Phil.
No, I don't have that one.
It's a Macintosh.
Where did this come from?
Where did what come from? I don't know.
It's just like a match on my screen.
Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Hold on. I may have to call you all back. Let me see here. Let me know. What the hell is this?
You know, the desktop that's on the bottom isn't my desktop.
It's Jeff. I see his name on the top. Jeff Stein. It says it right
really?
there.
Oh, Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeff, you did something.
Probably.
Yeah.
He now took over the thing.
You took it
Oh,
over.
what's that little heart?
It's all
that,
delayed.
This is
that little heart. Is that your heart? Stop sharing. He's sharing his screen.
We're looking at Jeff's screen.
Okay, so where do you put stop? Where's stop sharing?
It went away.
Where?
No, but it's still sharing.
Right there?
This one.
Oh.
Stop sharing.
Okay.
Push it.
Put that?
Yes.
Yes, push that.
Okay.
No, it's still.
Well, that didn't stop it. Oh, boy.
That's useless.
Let me-
Don't do that.
Just turn it off and come back.
Why don't you hang up and come back? I don't know what you did that did this. There goes everybody.
Well,
Now we still see
I
its
clicked
screen.
on
You know what he's doing?
something.
He's sharing his screen with us.
His desktop.
He's sharing his desktop.
Yeah.
And he's got to stop sharing his desktop. And I don't know how we can do that.
He's shutting down
Type the
Skype.
password in.
He's shutting. Well,
There we
thank
go.
God he shut down Skype. Oh God.
Well, it said JS. Whoever JS is
It was
that Jeff Stein?
Yeah.
It said
Okay,
Jeff Stein.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That
how
was
did
my
he
screen's back to
share
normal.
that whole thing with us, and how was he able to hijack the screen?
I want to figure out how to
He's
do
an
that.
he's an engineer.
This is the brand new wonderful Skype we're going to have to live with, folks.
Now anybody can hijack your screen. Huh?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think he hit something that made him share our screen.
Yeah.
And
Well, I know that
his
Amy used to do that all the time, but I don't know how she did it.
Well, she did it by being annoying. That was for starters.
She was a very nice person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Takes one to know one. God damn.
Yeah. I'm with our good friend Brian.
I think, marginally speaking, Alex, you would have more of a reason to hate her than I do.
Oh, really?
Only
okay.
because you run this
Okay,
network.
let's see
and
what
I
happens
just
if I add Jeff.
clash
now.
with her many times.
Jeff, I don't know what you pressed, but you pressed something that hijacked our screen. Now, I'd like to know what it is.
I'm going to try to find it.
I see it. It's share screens. It's under, even on the old one, you can do it.
Where is it?
I just saw it. Where the hell did it go? I just was looking at it.
There is a share screen. And
Yes, call share screens. It's under call. And then it's share screens.
Are you using the new Skype or the old Skype?
Old one.
Under call.
Yeah.
And then you
I
got
didn't even see calls.
You got
I don't have
It's Skype, conversation, call, view, tools, and help.
Yeah, but under call, I don't see it. I don't see it. Under
Oh, on
call.
mine, I have share screens.
I never saw this before, where it says more options.
But I have the old one.
But I don't think I pressed that.
But
Maybe I have a newer old one.
I don't know.
Yeah. Share sound system. Share screens. Here it is. Yeah. I bet that's
How about
what
share
you did.
spit?
I bet what happened was you shared your screen with us, and that's how you hijacked us. And we saw, of course, us because we were also on the screens. But at least I got a preview of what I have to put up with.
That's right.
Suggest that Jeff keeps his secret to himself, so that that's like the nuclear option. If he ever gets pissed at everybody, he can just fuck everything up.
Boom, you're gone.
Yeah, you probably could have gotten rid of it by unsharing your screen.
He tried. He clicked. I saw him click on the stop sharing. It was down at the bottom.
Yeah.
And Jeff, what was all that porn on your screen?
Yeah, what was?
Was it anything good?
No, there was
Maybe I'll
no
watch
porn.
it later.
There was no.
Gilfs.
Well, anyway, so that at least it gave me an idea of what it looks like and you did have the various people in circles up at the top. So, it's just more work I'm going to have to do. And I'm also going to have to, there's a thing where I can't using OBS, which is a program I use to switch the show. Okay. All right. Bye-bye, Brian.
Yep.
That it changed that it doesn't, the OBS does not record the Skype. I can't pick up the Skype screen. The Skype screen is invisible to it. So I have to use a secondary program called NDI Studio Monitor, which I then launch, and then it's a whole story. It's just when I finally get it together, probably it'll be a lot easier to do. But I want to be able to still use the PC to do the work here, rather than go over to the Mac to do it. So
Can you all hear me?
yeah, we can hear you fine.
Okay, good.
Yeah, where are you? In a different place, different computer?
Yeah, just across the room, using a wired connection on my desktop PC, whereas before I was communicating to you through a phone with what appears to be increasingly spotty and shitty Wi-Fi coverage.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome to Wi-Fi coverage.
Well, this is the wired, so
yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
Let's see.
Welcome to the new Skype is more like it.
Last night we brought up the situation with what's his name, the big fat turd.
Weinstein.
No. The guy who thinks that the Connecticut school killing was.
Oh, that motherfucker.
Oh, was that
Alex
the
Jones.
guy on
Alex
Facebook? That,
How come I can't remember Alex Jones when he shares the same name with me?
Hey, Bernie.
Hey, talking about Bernie and that other communist,
I was
their
getting,
elections didn't go too
I was
well.
getting onto a subject, Phil.
Oh.
What elections are you
Can I
talking
go? Can I
about?
go?
But after
go with,
Alex is done with this thing, because
the five.
He
that's
always
one thing
changes the
you
subject
run
whenever
these
there's.
delineate the
no,
conversation.
he hijacks the show.
Well, what's wrong with Alex Jones?
Oh my God!
Well,
that's the man with the NRA hat.
Farrakhan still has his Facebook page.
Yeah, Farrakhan,
and he says hateful things about Jews.
Name one. Read one to me.
That guy Michael Savage put a bunch of them on his.
I don't care.
On his thing.
Let me hear one.
I don't have the recording.
Well, then don't say that he did.
Hey, that's what he said. I'll look it up.
Wait a minute. Alex Jones said that the shooting never happened, that it was a government hoax. Come on.
There are people that said there was no Holocaust either.
Yeah, I know. They're insane.
Yeah, but they don't get kicked off Facebook.
They should be.
But I don't think.
Yes,
no,
yes, Patrick. Patrick.
This is where you and I disagree, and this is where I disagree with the PC Nazi left wing of the establishment. If you allow Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and all these other fucking places to dictate the terms and conditions as to who can stay or who can't, and not allow the people like myself and yourself to say, okay, we're not going to listen to them anymore. We're going to make our own pages that criticize Alex Jones, or our own pages that criticize Donald Trump or other private citizens as opposed to public ones like Donald Trump. Then you're asking these private entities acting on behalf of an Orwellian government to be Orwellian themselves.
Okay, let me ask you, do you pay for Facebook? Do you pay for Facebook?
Well, wait a minute. First of all, Patrick has his hand up. Patrick has had his hand up for a while. Yes, Patrick.
Okay, two things. One, I have heard several of Farrakhan's speeches, and he does say anti-Jew rhetoric, as well as you can imagine, anti-white, and that. So I have heard him. You can look him up on Facebook, and they're actually in interviews, and I think they're very interesting to listen to, because I've got an open mind enough to listen to people that are on the other side.
Did you ever hear the interview? Wait. Did you ever hear the interview I did with him?
Yeah, I think that was one of them that you played.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in that interview, and that was many, many years ago, he said to me, "Don't go looking stuff
I got
up,
it.
Phil.
I got it.
I
you
don't,
wanted it. I got it.
No, I don't. I don't want it. Let me just tell you that Farrakhan said to me, he said, the concept that I hate Jews is completely erroneous. He says, in fact, when I was growing up, I was a violinist, and one of my biggest heroes was Yasha Heifetz, who was a Jew. So yeah. And where did you go to get it, Phil? Where'd you go to get it?
This is CNN.com.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Let me give you this quote. White folks are going down, and Satan's going down, and Farrakhan, by God's grace, has pulled the cover off that satanic Jew. I am here to say that your time is up. Your world is through, he later said. So that's
that satanic Jew. What's that satanic Jew?
Okay, Jake Tapper, he says some anti-Semitic comments made by wait a minute.
See, when
Farrakhan cites Nixon and Graham attacking Jews, rip on the media.
Read this stuff.
He says the Jews run the media. Farrakhan calls Jews the mother and father of apartheid. There's others in here.
That's not anti-Semitic. That is just his opinion. Go ahead.
Well, hey, it's hate speech.
It's not,
and there's plenty of others.
The point that I'm making is that, quite frankly, I think that if you're going to have something like Facebook where anybody can say what they want to say, then why can't Alex Jones say it? And I don't like Alex Jones. I think he's a creep. I think he's a moron. But I'm saying if you're going to have this Hyde Park on the internet where people can put any graffiti they want to on their page, then so be it for him.
I may not agree with what you say, but I'll fight to the death for your right to say it.
Exactly. Yes, Patrick.
And the other point I wanted to make is Phil was confusing me because I was listening last night, and you were saying, Alex, exactly what you're saying now, but Phil was somehow defending Facebook.
No, I was defending Facebook, and I still think that they are correct in their model as to how they deal with it.
Yeah, no, but wait a minute. But what is their model, Phil?
Well, their model is that when you sign up to use Facebook, you agree to their terms and conditions.
Okay, and what are their terms and conditions?
No hate speech, no nudity.
Well, wait a minute. Now, who is going to determine whether something is hate speech or not hate speech?
They're going to determine it.
Oh, I see.
But okay.
So I'm going to have a bunch of corporate assholes. I'm going to have a bunch of corporate assholes figure out what is hate speech and what isn't hate speech.
Well, what is hate speech, according to Facebook, is anything that's said by the right wing. If it's said by the left wing, it's allowed to stay.
Now you're lying, Phil, and now you're extending the truth. There's no. Oh God, you're amazing.
Where's Alfano when we need him? Because I think more and more as I age, the more inclined I am to agree with him to just want to say fuck it all and disconnect my profiles and just live on my own little island. I think he's the smartest of all of us on this platform.
Yeah. Well, he's kind of baked out of calling and stuff because he's just tired of the whole thing, you know. So
I envy him in some ways.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, I envy him a lot, and I think the world of him as well, and I cherish the times when he calls. Here's Jack Bishop joining us. We're one person short of a full house. Oh, we have Tony as well. So
I keep swearing I'm not going to do this. Every time Phil Myers makes an idiot statement or alludes to somebody that is as unimportant as Louis Farrakhan is,
but he has a Facebook page, and Alex Jones doesn't.
And I agree with Alex Bennett that, hey, Alex Jones has a right to a Facebook page and to be heard. But the difference between Louis Farrakhan and Alex Jones.
Here's our full house. Yeah.
How many people pay attention to Louis Farrakhan?
Obviously, Alex. Hey, here's a statement. Chicago Tribune. Louis Farrakhan, anti-Semitism, the silence on the left.
Phil, enough.
All right.
Enough.
Answer my question, Phil. How many people pay attention to Louis Farrakhan? How many radio...
There's a lot of people pay attention to Louis Farrakhan.
Not 2.4 million people, Phil.
It's enough. How many people do you need to hate the Jews?
Well, the thing is, how many people do you need to hate anybody?
How many Jews do you need to hate the Jews?
Hey, how big is the Nation of Islam? He runs the Nation of Islam, right?
No, he does not. No, he doesn't. Let me repeat that. No, he does not.
It says here,
will you listen, Phil? You refuse to listen to somebody who knows the subject matter.
Well, he says he's not running the Nation of Islam.
Turn your camera on and off again, Jack. You say he's not running the Nation of Islam. Will you explain to Phil why?
All right. The Nation of Islam is run by a guy named Wallace D. Muhammad the last time I looked, the son of the late Elijah Muhammad. Now, Louis Farrakhan split off, or that group split off from Louis Farrakhan years ago. More than 30 years ago, to the best of my memory.
I was young then.
Yeah, look, it was back when Jeff and I both had hair and all of our own teeth, and our organs were not electronically tuned.
Okay, March 8th,
Jesus
2018.
Christ, Phil, no more. No more.
Well, you're going to not have a full house in a second.
The last time I heard Louis Farrakhan mentioned in any black barbershop that I have been in the last 40 years,
Jack, it doesn't matter. The reason I mentioned it is because Alex Jones, who I don't like, and Louis Farrakhan, who I don't like, one has a presence on Facebook and the other doesn't.
Well,
they both.
And by the way, somebody more despicable than both of them. Hold on a second, Jack. And by the way, turn on your camera. It's whirling. Turn it off.
It froze here on me.
Somebody even worse than Louis Farrakhan or Alex Jones has access to Facebook. Donald Trump.
He uses Twitter, right? Doesn't he?
Then he's behind. Then he should get a Facebook page
and Instagram.
Yeah.
Louis Farrakhan does run the Nation of Islam still.
Thank you very much.
Okay, fine. I don't give a big.
No, I'm just telling you.
He
This
has
is a fact.
no in the black community. If that's where you're headed.
I don't know.
You know, if you knew anything about the black community, Jack, maybe you would have agreed with me.
A hell of a lot black longer than you have, brother. As a matter of fact, I was probably Jewish before you were.
Like Sammy Davis, he was Jewish.
Yeah.
Because Alex remembers.
And not a member of Islam.
Alex remembers when I thought about converting until I discovered the Unitarians and found out I didn't have to convert to a damn thing.
You guys have help? Hey, do you guys have help?
Unitarians?
Yeah.
Well, here's what happens when Unitarians die, and we get to heaven.
By the way, your camera. Turn your camera on and off again, Jack. It's just
let me try it again.
Around.
We want to see you, beautiful.
All right.
No.
As I was about to say before my camera became the topic of discussion, when Unitarians die, and we get to the pearly gates, we see a sign that says, "To God," with an arrow pointing in one direction, and then another arrow that says discussion about God. And that's the one we pick.
Yeah,
but
no hell.
Most Unitarians, I always say this about Unitarian churches, that we love having former Jews in the congregation because Jews and agnostics will volunteer to run committees.
That's true. But no hell, right?
No hell.
All right.
Well, you see, we are non-creedal. You know, there is no set litany of belief that you have to espouse. It's like going to the cafeteria. I refer to myself sort of as a Hebraic Unitarian in that I don't buy the concept of hell because I know how hell came into Judeo-Christian thought. It has nothing to do with the way most people think of it. But getting back to Louis Farrakhan. Louis Farrakhan is a non-entity. You know, he hasn't actually been heard of on a national basis since the Million Man March. And you know why there will be no Million Man Redneck March, Phil?
Yeah, because Alex Jones is a moron. And the shit that he talks about is moronic.
Nobody is
no
arguing
Million
that.
Man Redneck March because there's not enough parking spaces for all those.
Nobody is arguing that. But I got to tell you, it's awfully hypocritical of Facebook because they allow so much other shit on Facebook. That's
what I said.
And they're making an example of Alex Jones. And the same thing goes for iTunes. There's so much shit on iTunes, and yet they're going after Alex Jones. They should clean up. If they're going to clean up, they should clean up the whole house. Or they should say, listen, we don't censor what people have to say. We consider ourselves a common carrier, and people can say anything they want to on their pages. Other people have the right to go on those pages and say how they feel about it.
Digital.
Well, the InfoWars app
but they
is
don't.
still there. The InfoWars app is still there.
The app isn't. They still have an app. There is an InfoWars app, and as a matter of fact, it has become very popular in the last couple of days because it's the one way you can access his programming.
Yeah, it's increased and inflamed his popularity.
And you can buy the app. You can either I don't know if you pay for it or not, but you can get the app on the App Store in Apple. But you can't get it on iTunes. Now, what's with that? Where's your consistency, Apple?
Yeah.
You know, these people are, I don't know what day they all kind of I think the first one that decided to get rid of Alex Jones was iTunes. And then all these other people fell into line because they didn't want to look bad.
And as a mea culpa to Phil Meyer, I took the time while you guys were talking to check Wallace D. Muhammad. The organization that he runs is called the American Muslim Mission.
Okay.
So, corrected.
Never heard of it.
No. So, I mean, look, you can say what you want to about it's amazing that for hate speech you didn't bring up the American Nazi Party or the Ku Klux Klan. Wait a minute, hold on a second. Let me finish, Phil. Or the Ku Klux Klan. You happen to bring up a black guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is that?
It just it was something I heard today on that Michael Savage, and he had mentioned
another fucking racist.
Yeah, and a Jewish racist. But he just comes from a different angle. I don't think he's a racist.
Oh, really? Do you know Michael Savage?
Yeah. What quotes do you have saying that he's a racist?
I've dealt with him personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found him to be. I know a lot about Michael Savage. I'm not going to tell you about here, but it's all pretty unsavory.
Put it this way:
why wouldn't this relate to
what? Wait, Kevin?
Why wouldn't this relate to the whole thing with the Facebook and the 31 people that that story the other day with the 31. What was it? The 31 people they took off, or the was it? The 31, and then all of a sudden they pull off Alex Jones. Doesn't that relate a little bit? Couldn't that be some kind of relation there?
No, but the 31 were these Russian bots and things that were.
So they're trying
to
make good there.
Yeah.
So why not play around with it with this too?
Because if they're going to do it to this guy and
try and
enforce,
make face, they're trying to make face.
With who?
With the Congress.
Yeah, Alex Jones. The Congress is right leaning. If they were
just
fair
to
about
make themselves look good.
Well, you know what happened, Phil. You saw how much he lost in money on Facebook. Their stock dropped like 30% last week in one day.
Yeah, Facebook is just trying to make themselves look good.
Yeah.
You know what? He must have lost about $10 million. He has to. Alex Jones.
$10 million?
Billion,
like $16 billion he lost.
They'll probably come up with another one.
Yes,
yes. Alex Jones to the curb. He cost me $16 billion.
Yes, Patrick.
I think the difference between the 31 with the Russians and Alex Jones is they were claiming the 31 Russians were part of the conspiracy or whatever for meddling in the election. Yeah. And Alex Jones is just hate speech. I don't think that there is a correlation. And if Alex is correct, Alex Bennett, that is, not Jones, that Apple is the first one that took Alex Jones off. So if it was all Facebook, there might be some correlation, but I don't think there is.
He's probably saying
right, but there was always that question was whether there was correlation there to make Facebook look good.
Jack has his hand up.
Another thing that hasn't been brought up: Twitter, Facebook, all of this social media is like the Wild West. There are no uniform rules. There's no regulatory entity about who can post, what they can post. What's that supposed to mean?
There's Alex Jones.
There's nothing out there that governs these entities.
That's why I love the internet. It's like everything. It's like anything goes, really. You really don't, that's why you can't judge what you read unless you're actually seeing it.
Well, I mean, the problem here is that Facebook, Twitter, Apple are all only caring about one thing, and that's the bottom line. And they will do anything they can do to make themselves look good. And Alex Jones, I mean, I hate Alex Jones. I find him despicable. I even find that he does things that endangers people. Okay? But like you remember the Pizzagate situation?
Oh yeah.
That's a perfect example of where somebody could have gotten hurt. Okay, but he is a scuzzbag and all of that. But I'm going to sit here and defend his right to be seen on Facebook because that is supposedly the democratic entity that is Facebook. They have said the reason they exist is for that reason. And if they don't allow freedom of speech, then Facebook technically doesn't exist any longer.
They're trying to be the fucking CC.
Exactly. And the same thing is true. And I have to hand it to Twitter. Twitter has not joined the fray.
Twitter got rid of somebody today that was controversial. Was it Alex Jones or?
I don't know. I don't think
so.
In
the past, they've banned people like Twitter has banned people like Milo Yiannopoulos, haven't they?
I don't know.
Who's he?
He's a right-wing gay guy that seems to incite.
He was on an episode. He was on the only episode of Real Time with Bill Maher that really shone light on how despicable he is as a human being and got his book.
All I'm saying is that who is going to be the judge? You know, I think I know what hate speech is. I think certainly Jack knows what hate speech is. I, for instance, think that our president has been engaged in a constant case of hate speech in the last couple of months, calling black people dumb. Okay, but the point is that
was Don Lemon.
That's my case, he called. He also called the basketball player. What's his name? He called him dumb as well. He also called Maxine Waters dumb. He uses dumb whenever he's referring to black people, Phil, and that's
he's mocked disabled people. He's done all that crap.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at the Facebook things. They talk about safety. They talk about a voice that, and they have, and if anyone violates their standards.
When was this written, by the way?
I just looked up Facebook's community standards.
Yes, and when was that written?
Doesn't say.
Oh, maybe it was. How about if it was written day before yesterday?
Well, it might be. Violence and criminal behavior, safety, objectionable content, integrity and authenticity, respecting intellectual property and content-related requests.
And what did they say that Alex Jones?
Oh, this is 2018.
What did it say? Yeah, okay, so they just made them up. The question I have for you is that what did they say they took Alex Jones off specifically for? And you can't say they said anything because they didn't. They did not specify anything in particular. And now again, folks, if you're listening to me, I'm not defending Alex Jones. What I'm defending is freedom of expression and speech. Yes, Patrick.
I just pulled up an article. I don't know how you pronounce VOX.
What?
VOX is the name in a magazine or whatever.
Yeah.
AOX.
And the CEO of Twitter said that he will not ban Alex Jones, much to the chagrin of, from what I'm just skimming through this thing, much to the chagrin of a lot of people on the left.
Yeah.
But it's hate speech, and that he's at a crossroads and he's choosing the wrong path by not banning Alex Jones. And he says the reason he's not is it doesn't violate any of Twitter's policies, and it's up to the news media, not Twitter staff, to police accounts like Jones that sensationalize issues and spread unsubstantiated.
Right. Here,
people that aren't happy. Here's the CEO said, "Fuck it."
Here's the point. You know who the ultimate censor should be? To begin with, I don't think anybody can define what hate speech is. I can define it for what I believe it to be. Jack can define it for what he believes it to be. But no one entity can define what hate speech is. It's kind of like, I'll know it when I hear it. Here's how hate speech should be dealt with. Nobody should listen to it. You don't have to go to Alex Jones's Facebook page. You don't have to go to his iTunes account. You can avoid him completely, and if enough people avoid him, he will cease to exist. Yes, Jack?
And the thing to remember is there's always going to be somebody calling for the banning of somebody. Now, Alex Bennett and I are both old enough to remember when they used to ban books in some states.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Yes, yes, Phil.
Looks like the reason Jones was tossed off is he's had a hand in spreading hoaxes online, unproven theories. Sandy Hook massacre was fabricated. Democrats ran a child abuse ring out of a pizzeria, and these are the two main things that they're. He was also removed from Spotify.
How about all the people out there? People out there at Facebook pages that spread hoaxes.
Didn't somebody
all the
get
time.
killed at the pizzeria?
No.
Almost, but no.
Oh, okay, but so there was an incited act.
Yeah,
of
but
violence.
that happened like 3 years ago. Did
they?
Wait a minute. Did they ban him then?
No. But,
okay, then fuck them.
This is what they're saying.
Fuck them. They're hypocrites.
Glorified violence using dehumanizing language to describe people that are transgender, Muslims, and immigrants. It violates their hate speech policies. And after multiple strikes, Facebook shut down the page.
A hate speech policy is not hate speech policy. It is really it is it's a mind crime. In other words, he has a certain thought and he's saying it, and they don't agree with it, and they find it objectionable, and so they take it off. Well, it flies in the face. I mean, Facebook's falling apart. Facebook will be a whatever happened to Facebook within 2 years.
Think they'll change their name to MySpace?
Probably. In fact, I'm going to start buying up some of that MySpace stock, you know.
You know, maybe the way to approach all this is to consider these platforms sort of like an electronic version of the weekly world news where you know it's bullshit.
Well, anybody who looks at stuff online or anything on Facebook and takes it on face value is a fucking idiot.
Hey, my girlfriend comes up to me tonight before the show and she says, "Do you know that Chumley from Pawn Stars died?" And I said, "Nah, that's bullshit." She says, "Well, my sister called me and told me." I said, "Where did she hear that?" I said, "You can't believe anything that's on the internet anymore. It's all bullshit." But then she looks it up and it says Chumley's death hoax.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I'll bet you it's all over Facebook, and Facebook isn't doing anything about it because it comes against their anti-hoax policy.
Yeah, really.
You know, all I'm saying is I'm not defending Alex Jones. Far be it. I hope that he would die from lack of people paying attention to him.
You got a royal flush.
Yeah.
Who's got a toilet sound effect?
I do.
Yeah, don't encourage him with the sound effect.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
Who is this you're talking about? Are you talking about Donald Trump or Alex Jones?
I'm talking about Alex Jones. The same is true, by the way, of Donald Trump. You know, I mean, the fact is,
film the dying.
That the reason Alex Jones exists is because people are paying attention to him. And you know something? He exists more today than when Facebook and iTunes and Spotify and so on took him off. And you know why? Because people are now seeking him out. They never heard of this creep before now. And now they're hearing about Alex Jones. Alex Jones. It's the best thing that ever happened to Alex Jones. Yes, yes, Patrick.
I think that also happened to somebody who is now the President of the United States, that he had very little media coverage, and then people like Morning Joe and all these other people brought him on, and all of a sudden his stock went up and everybody was interested in him.
Who are you talking about?
Same thing.
Who are you talking about?
I mean, you shine a spotlight on, you know, everybody's going to look. in the case of Alex Jones, you remove him from something, people seek him out. In the case of Trump, you put him on the platform where he was just a builder. I didn't know much about Trump, and then all of a sudden he's on every fucking news show there was for almost 2 years after he declared, he's going to run for president. So, everybody sought him out.
But
same way.
This is the best thing that has happened to Alex Jones. This is
my wife calls it the kitchen light syndrome. You go into the kitchen to turn the light on, and pretty soon all the cockroaches start scurrying.
Right. So I just think
gas station bathroom analogy would be more appropriate.
I'm not here to defend Alex Jones. Far be it. I wish the guy would. I wish he would have a heart attack and drop dead. Okay, how's that? All right.
Sounds like hate speech.
Yeah, it is hate speech. I hate Alex Jones. Oh, wait a minute. This is going to be on Facebook later. I wonder if I'm going to be censored as a result of that.
We'll have to monitor it to see if you are.
Yeah.
And mount a protest if you do drop.
I think that as long as you're making hate speech against a right winger, you are okay.
But I don't wish that he would be. By the way, hi, it's Steve. I don't wish that Alex Jones would be dead. I just wish he would fucking disappear.
Well, the best way for him to disappear is for people to reject him. But the fact is, in the last couple of days, he's gotten more publicity than he's ever had, and he's going to be bigger now than he was before they took him off Facebook. Because he does have an app that's being, by the way, distributed for Apple iPhones and by Android for Android phones. And
I just downloaded it.
Yeah, and you can watch Alex Jones there. Isn't that just horrific that Apple, who was the first people to take him off because they took him off of iTunes, still maintains his app? Now,
how many followers does he have?
He has about on Facebook he had 2.5 million.
Holy God! Wow.
Yeah.
That's why did you? I don't understand why anybody pays attention to that idiot.
They pay attention to him because he's like people pay attention to an accident by the side of the road.
Right,
and he's the same as paying attention to an accident by the side of the road. Normally, you'd say, hey, somebody maybe died there. That's terrible. But no, you're going to look at it as you drive by. That's why the
lucky lose. Yeah, yeah.
The looky loos.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's getting a lot of publicity now, and this is the best thing that ever happened to him. And I don't know, did you have to pay to get that app, Phil?
No. I wouldn't have paid for it. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
What's it called?
What's it called, Phil? InfoWars.
And the best way probably to look at all of this is to look at what Lincoln said. You can fool some of the people all of the time, some of the people some of the time. That's good enough.
Well, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but not all of the people all the time. But if you can do it just once, every 4 years you can get elected.
I gotta go.
I'm not sure
we'll see you later on your show. By the way,
this is Alex Jones InfoWars Facebook page.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, get Hillary.
So
quit plugging him,
right
Phil.
up.
Quit plugging him.
Well, it comes up.
Really? When did it come?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's taken down. Maybe it's more fake news.
No, it's not taken down. The app is there. And that's the hypocrisy of iTunes. They were the first ones to take him off. They were then followed in suit by this whole cadre of social media people.
This is Facebook, and it's there.
Oh, that's Facebook? What's there?
Infowars.com, TV show. And I understood that was taken down as well as his personal page.
Wait a minute. Is it a Facebook page called Infoworld.com?
Infowars.com TV show. And wait a minute, this is a scam. There's only 1,799 people like this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I bet you this is a scam.
Yeah, and that's a little scam that Facebook didn't take care of. And what are they going to do about all the hookers that keep trying to be my friend on Facebook? You know,
at least somebody wants to be your
Are they
friend.
doing anything to stop that?
Yeah.
I have historically, I have how many? I have 5,000 Facebook followers, the most that you can have. And every time it goes down to 4,999, I get a hooker from Guatemala, you know, or a hooker from Abu Dhabi or someplace like that who wants to be my friend. Now
I'm getting the hookers on Skype. They try to friend you on Skype.
Yeah,
I had that happen once.
So what is Facebook doing about that? They're not protecting me in that fashion, you know, and I find that very annoying. I always list
Here's
it.
your answer. Here's your answers to what they're doing. It's called Jack and
Shit
Dick.
or shit.
Or that too.
I hear
all
Jack
of these
shit.
all of these sites have only like 1,000 or 2,000 members.
Yeah,
so they're all scams.
They're all scams. Yeah. But so why isn't Facebook closing down those scams? I mean, come on, we're trying to fight the wars, aren't we, Facebook? We're trying to show the world that we're going to get rid of, you know. Ray, say something.
I just think that I have a couple ideas. I mean, first of all, I agree that Facebook should not pick and choose, and I'm glad that Twitter didn't. On the other hand, I feel like what you said, Alex, the public should just not pay attention to people, and Facebook's a private company that we don't pay anything for, so in some sense they can do whatever the hell they want.
Well, we don't pay for it, but Ray, let me say this. We don't pay for it because they choose not to charge us for it.
Yeah.
Because they want all that data that they mine from our existence of being on it.
Yeah, I know.
I won't use it.
So
and
in
they're
a way,
large enough where they should have to be held responsible.
So in a way, in a way, Ray, aren't we in fact? What was that?
But what about the thing that you agree to when you sign up for the app that says that you agree to their rules and regulations?
Oh, wait.
You know, there's a thing on there when you make your profile. It says, I agree to these these things.
By the way, Brian, we don't have any video on you. There we go. Yes, Patrick. Stop with that. With those rules and regulations, they make them up every day. Okay.
Doesn't matter. We agreed to them.
Well, fuck them. They've been using my data all these years for their enrichment.
Well, they didn't. Hey, Phil, they didn't flash a notifier on my screen window or something indicating that these changes and these addendum items are added into our disclosure agreement that we sent.
I don't even.
2007.
But what if
when I originally joined?
What if they don't?
Fucking
Brian,
begin-
but
so
what if
why
they
the
don't
fuck?
have to because it says that it may change from time to
Well,
time?
then we can also have the right to say "fuck you," Facebook, which I'm
Right,
thinking.
well, that's
I'm
what
thinking.
Rob
I'm thinking.
Alfano did.
I'm thinking.
Well, that was my point. But I understand the point that they're a huge company and they have a huge influence on our country, obviously, and our elections and everything else. So they do need to be held responsible.
Exactly.
I'm just saying that.
Patrick had his hand up a long time ago, and I would like to recognize him at this time. Patrick?
I would like to agree with Bill that if in fact we signed up, we agreed to these rules, then that is absolutely correct. My question is, though, at what point did they decide they were all of a sudden going to start enforcing them? Because it's just like other laws or regulations in a business. You don't just willy-nilly decide one day you're going to do it. They should have been enforcing that shit. So if that was as soon as you signed up and Alex Jones started being the knob that he is from day one, he shouldn't be having a Facebook page for the last 10 years.
You know, all this stuff that Alex Jones has been doing, he's been doing for the last 10 years, right? And most of the most egregious stuff, like the stuff about the schools in Connecticut and Sandy Hook and so on, happened as much as 4 or 5 years ago. And so all the stuff they're complaining about, they're taking them off for now. Isn't it odd that it's happening at the time? Hold on a second. Isn't it odd that it's happening at the time that their stock completely plummeted?
Which brings me back to my point.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think that with Congress grilling Zuckerberg, that started the enforcement of the rules. Now he realized that he was going to have to do something. He apologized. He said that they didn't do enough. And now they're doing something.
And then he made up a phony story about 31 people they took off because they might have been Russians. They might.
I think those were all the Gabnet listeners on YouTube.
They might have been. They might have been. Yes, Patrick.
Now what Kevin said earlier makes sense with the stock. I wasn't buying it when it was just the Russian, but now that you tied the stocks in there, and
money.
Yeah, now I can sort of buy it. But like I said earlier, and like you just said, Alex, he's been doing this for the last 5 years or 10 years on Facebook. Why now? Well,
exactly.
Maybe it is the money. Maybe it is the stock.
The only way to keep these guys
themselves look good.
The only way to keep these guys from influencing the next election is to say you shouldn't have any political speech on Facebook. If there's political speech, it should be banned.
Well, then you're going to have to ban about 90% of the people who post something of a political nature on, just from on their site that they got somewhere else. Yes, Ray.
Wasn't it the video of him harassing Bernie Sanders in the airport that kind of was the nail in the coffin for him?
I don't even know about that.
Oh yeah,
I remember seeing that.
Oh yeah, it just happened recently. He happened to run into Bernie Sanders at an airport and was harassing the shit out of Bernie Sanders.
It was one of his underlings, though. Jones was harassing.
I can't believe that Bernie's flying commercial.
Yeah, they were. No. Alex Jones was chasing Bernie Sanders around with an iPhone, and it was kind of scary. And I believe that was the thing that initiated the banning.
Yes, Patrick.
See if you can find it. It's terrible.
Can I just say to that, Bernie Sanders is a public official, and I remember on this show, many people yammering about Sarah Sanders or Alex standing up and calling out what's his face, how many the old Secretary of State
Pompeo or
no, back during Vietnam. His name's on the tip of my tongue. Who you yelled at, Alex?
Henry Kissinger.
Henry Kissinger.
Yeah, Henry Kissinger, yeah.
So my point is, I don't give a shit that Alex Jones was following what was scary or not, because according to everybody on this panel, it was just fine to hammer on Sarah Sanders and hammer on Kissinger.
Or Pence.
Hammer on anybody.
No.
Well,
yeah, I thought
watch the video first, and then
I thought the Sanders crew, though, Ray, handled themselves well in rebuking Alex Jones. I thought
I agree.
They did a good job defending themselves, though.
But I think there is a point to be made here that these are public servants who.
And Patrick is right. I agree with him.
Wait,
look
at Bernie Sanders is an old man. Alex Jones was trying to get in his face. I mean, it was.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, Sacha Baron Cohen got in his face on that show.
But that was on a TV. That was. But this was in an airport. In public. You need to watch the video. I mean, just watch the video, and then you'll know.
There was a crowd that followed Sarah Sanders from a restaurant to another restaurant, getting in her face.
No, I think that's terrible.
I disagree with you, Ray. I don't think these people should go anywhere without knowing that people don't like them. To be honest,
no, but
there's a time and a place.
Physically threatened, I just don't agree. agree with
Yeah,
that.
there's a time and a place.
Well, she felt threatened. There's no proof that she was threatened. Okay.
Well, if I were Bernie Sanders and I was his age, and I would have felt threatened. If you see this video, I certainly would have felt threatened.
You know, and the reason I haven't seen that video is I don't watch Alex Jones. All right.
Yeah, I don't know where it came from. I don't think it was Alex Jones who promoted the video. I think I'm not sure.
Was this somebody? This was just somebody with an iPhone who accosted.
No, it was Alex's iPhone. I guess he did put it out there. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yes, Patrick.
Well, Sarah Sanders had a kid with. I mean, how scary was that for the kid to be, yelled at? It's all the same fucking thing. I don't give a shit anymore. I did at the time, but now, I mean, Alex made the point weeks ago, and it made sense to me. If you're in the public eye and you're a public servant, tough fucking shit. If you're up there, I mean, if Alex
I got the video.
Well, who cares? I mean, we're not going to show it here.
No, it says Alex Jones ambushes Senator Bernie Sanders.
Okay, well, we can all go online and do that, I think, after
it's on
the show
YouTube
if we want to see it,
Yeah.
But, I mean, look, nobody is questioning whether this guy isn't a major asshole and creep, and that what he's doing is wrong, and it's not nice, and it's not nice to do to other people. We all realize the creepy level to which this guy goes in order to make whatever point he's trying to make. He's actually trying to sell, I think, vitality pills on his show, and that's it, But what we're talking about here is his access to what is social media, which is an open forum, being shut down because these companies are watching out for their own collective asses. Not because they, if they felt this way about Alex Jones, he was this way 2-3 years ago, okay? Most of the stuff they're shutting him down for is stuff he did 2 or 3 years ago. Where were they then? That's what I'm saying. It's a fucking hypocritical. Facebook especially is incredibly hypocritical, and I think Apple follows right behind.
They were dealing with the Me Too movement, and now, after they got all of these guys from 25 years ago, they're going after Alex Jones. That's only 3 years.
Well, wait a minute. That has nothing to do with the Me Too movement.
No, it does.
It doesn't. It has absolutely nothing to do with the Me Too movement. That has spawned a whole different kind of Nazism in this country. Right. Yes, Patrick.
Actually, Phil may have a point in that now everybody going back in time, whether it's old Twitter account that said something 5 years ago when you were in high school, and now it's being brought up,
and the guy loses his job.
Yeah, it's shit like that, where all of a sudden we're reaching back into time, and we're trying to write it now in today's versus back then. I mean, Alex Jones was an asshole back then. He is now.
He is now.
Why not?
Right. Didn't Alex Bennett say Paul McCartney is dead?
No, I didn't. I never said it.
What are all these weird noises?
I think it sounds like Brian has a cold.
Oh, it's like someone's like hacking up loogies constantly or something.
Lung butter.
Scott,
Tony lives on a racetrack.
Scott has hardly said anything. Scott has said hardly anything tonight. Do you have anything to say? Okay, he just nodded no. But all I'm saying is that these companies, they started out as fun, okay, and now all of a sudden what it was is when Facebook first started, and I think I was maybe one of the early people on Facebook who wasn't a college student, because it started as a thing for college students. It was fun, and everybody was having a nice time. And there wasn't any advertising on it. And what's his name? I can't remember his name now, the head of the company. Zuckerberg Zuckerberg was still trying to
Zucker-
figure out a way to make money out of it, so he went out and hired some guys to come in and run it as a business, and they found the way to make money out of it, not the least of which was mining your data. And
I thought he hired the Napster guy.
I can't remember who he hired, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, it was the guy that had Napster and then got that was destroyed.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I stole a lot of music.
Napster.
I mean, I borrowed that.
Yeah. Well, actually, Netscape was going to combine with Yahoo at one point to a new company called Netanyahu. So. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week. You know, I just think that these companies have gotten terribly hypocritical. I, as you know, took my show off of Facebook, and many times have considered not even rerunning it on Facebook because I just don't like Facebook. I don't like what they become, you know, and I think they've gotten away from their own original stated mission, and I think this thing with Alex Jones is just, you know, it's a symptom of what's wrong with Facebook. And
was it Tom Hanks that sold all his stock about a month before Facebook went in the dumper?
I think so, yeah.
And he said that he didn't like what was going on, and he pulled out of it?
Yeah, yeah.
Smart guy.
Yeah, so, you know, I mean...
Inside trade.
Yeah, inside...
He's a libtard, though.
Inside trading, yeah, and he's not even a congressman.
He knew what was going on.
Yeah. So anyway, gee, we spent the whole night, except for a glancing reference every now and then to Trump, not even talking about Trump, and that is certainly a great relief, even if it was the expense was having to talk about Alex Jones. So, you know.
And I was right several times.
When was that? I can't remember.
On the Farrakhan thing.
Oh, on the Farrakhan.
Almost two.
You should friend him on Facebook.
Well, I heard from Farrakhan personally that he doesn't hate Jews, so, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, listen,
I think he was licking his chops. Are you Jewish?
I'll tell you, I liked the guy. I had a great interview with him. I had a great moment with him. He was very interesting. Yes, Patrick, you'll be our last word tonight.
Anybody to go online and watch some of his speeches, even if you disagree with him. He's very captivating, much like Bill Clinton was.
Adolf Hitler.
I mean, Bill, I don't like him any more than you do. I wouldn't equate. To me, that's like these idiots that are equating Trump to Hitler. It's an overuse of the fucking term, and it's a stupid term to use. Hitler this, Hitler that. No, fair
They were
enough.
both anti-Semitic.
No, listen, I agree with him. For instance, Trump is no Hitler. Hitler was much nicer. Anyway, that's it for tonight. You hear that? You hear the theme, everybody? I guess you can't hear it. Can you hear the theme? No.
Yeah.
Oh, you
we
can.
hear it, man.
Oh, okay.
So I'm dancing.
No, that's why you're dancing. Hey, good to see you again tonight, Ray. Let me thank Phil, as always. We always like to get heated with him, but we love him dearly. Jeff, you didn't got much of a word in edgewise tonight, but always nice to see you in one of the squares. Patrick, we think the world of you. Make sure your audio isn't on automatic, okay, on Skype when you get off, because it tends to, when other people are talking, you tend to get drowned out. But just check it, the hell of it. Hey, we hardly heard at all from Tony. But thank you, Tony. Steve, we hardly heard from you, but thank you for calling. Scott, Ray Renati, of course, Brian Ludwig. Always great to have you here.
Thank you.
And of course to Kevin. If everybody would like to give a big wave goodbye, I'm sure they will wave back at you, okay? Thank you all for joining us tonight. That's our Citizens Panel. That's it for tonight. Coming up next, Jack Bishop. He's here with a little program called The Intersection. And then at 1 o'clock this morning, it's Connections. And tomorrow night at 9:30, we will be having a program with Damian Chaplin called The Exchange. I'm back again tomorrow night. Yes, 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. Same time, same station in life, and in the meantime, if you see her, please tell her I love her, okay?